राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे हरे. Hare Krishna, dear devotees and pranams. Thank you for joining in for our Krishna book study session. Let's start with the prayers. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naran Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudirayet. नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी. कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः. नमो पङ्कजनाभाय नमो पङ्कजमालिने नमो पङ्कजनेत्राय नमस्ते पङ्कजाङ्ग्रये. पाहि पाहि महायोगीन् देवदेव जगत्पते. नान्यं त्वादभयं पश्ये यत्र मृत्यु परस्परं. कृष्ण कृष्ण महाबाहो भक्तानाम् अभयङ्करा. त्वमेको धैर्यमानानाम् अपवर्गोऽसि संश्रुतेः. ॐ ज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनाशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः. श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं. वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च. नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णाप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामी निधि नामिने. नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा. हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे. गुरवे गौरचन्द्राय राधिकाय तडालये कृष्णाय कृष्णभक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः. मुखं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं. परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यमीश्वरं हरिः ओं तत्सत्. Hare Krishna, dear devotees and pranams. So we are on chapter number 89 of the Krishna book. Let me share my screen. So this chapter is very interesting. This chapter is entirely the super excellent power of Krishna. This is a kind of a summary of all the excellent attributes of Krishna that we've already studied in the last 88 chapters. So quickly, let's move ahead. Rajeshwari, Raji Mataji, please go ahead and start reading. Please unmute Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam.
Yes, Mataji.
Prabhupada ki jai, all glories to Prabhupada. Chapter 89, the supreme excellent power of Krishna. Long, long ago, there was an assembly of great sages on the bank of the river Saraswati who performed the great sacrifice of the name of Satra. In such assemblies, the great sages present usually discuss the Vedic subjects, matters, and philosophically topics. And in this particular meeting, the following questions was raised. There are the three predominating deities of this material world, namely Lord Brahma, Lord Vishnu, and Lord Shiva, are directing all the affairs of this cosmos. But who among them is the supreme? After much discussion on this question, the great sage named Brihu, the son of Lord Brahma, was disputed to test all three predominating deities and reported to the assembly as to who is the greatest. Being thus deputed, the great sage Brihu Muni first of all went to his father's residence in Brahmaloka. The three deities are the controller of the three material qualities, namely the qualities of goodness, passion, and ignorance. The plan decided upon by the sages was for Brihu to test which one of the predominating deities possessing the qualities of goodness in full. Therefore, when Brihu Muni reached his father, Lord Brahma, because Brihu wanted to test whether Brahma had the quality of goodness, he purposely did not offer his respect to his father, either of offering obeisance or by offering prayers. It is the duty of a son or a discipline to offer respect to the suitable prayers when he approaches his father or spiritual master. But Brihumuni purposely failed to offer respect just to see Lord Brahma's reaction to his negligence. Lord Brahma was very angry at his son's impudence, and he showed sign with definitely proved this to be so. He was even prepared to condemn Brihu by cursing him. But because Brihu was his son, Lord Brahma controlled his anger with his great intelligence. This means that although the quality of passion was predominating in Lord Brahma, he had the power to control it. Lord Brahma's anger and his controlling his anger are linked to fire and water. Water is produced from fire at the beginning of creation, but fire can be exhausted with water. Similarly, although the Lord Brahma was very angry due to his quality of passion, he could still control his passion because Brihumuni was his son. After testing Lord Brahma, Brihumuni went directly to the mountain Kailas, where Lord Shiva residing. Brihumuni happened to be Lord Shiva's brother. Therefore, as soon as Brihumuni approached Lord Shiva, was very glad and personally rose to embrace him. But when Lord Shiva approached Brihumuni, he refused to embrace him. My dear brother, he said, you are always very impure because you simmer your body with ashes. You are not very clean. Please don't touch me. When Brihumuni refused to embrace his brother, saying that Lord Shiva was impure, the latter became very angry with him. It is said that an offense can be committed either with the body, with the mind, or by speech. Brihumuni's first offense committed towards Brahma was an offense by the mind. His second offense committed towards Lord Shiva by insulting him, criticizing him him for unclean habits was as an offense by speech, because the quality of ignorance is prominating in Lord Shiva. When he heard Brihu's insult, his eyes immediately become red with angry. With uncontrollable rage, he took up his trident and prepared to kill Brihumuni. At that time, Lord Shiva's wife Parvati was presented. He personality like Lord Shiva's is a mixture of the three qualities, and therefore she is called Trigumani.
Trigunamayi.
Trigunamayi. In this case, she saved the situation by evoking Lord Shiva's quality of goodness. She fell down at the feet of her husband, and with her sweet words, she talked without of killing Brihumuni. After being saved from the anger of Lord Shiva, Brihumuni went directly to the planet Satvadev.
Shvetadvipa.
Svetadvipa. Thank you, Mataji. Where Lord Vishnu was laying on the bed of flowers in the company of his wife, the goddess of fortune, who was engaged in massaging his lotus feet. There, Brahmani purposely committed the great sin by offending Lord Vishnu by his bodily activities. The first offense committed by Brahmani was mental, and the second offense was vocal, and the third offense was corporal. These different offenses are progressively greater in degree. An offense committed within the mind is positive offense, and some offense committed verbally is comparatively more grave, and when committed by bodily action it is superlatively in offensiveness. So Brahmani committed the great offense by kicking the chest of the Lord in the presence of the goodness of fortune. Of course, the Lord Vishnu is all merciful. He did not become angry at the activity of Brahmani, for Brahmani was a great Brahmana. A Brahmana is to be executed even if he sometimes commits an offense. The Lord Vishnu set an example. Yet it is said that from the time of this incarnate, the goodness of fortune, Lakshmi, was not being very favorable disposed towards the Brahmanas. And therefore, because the goddess of fortune withholds her benediction from them, the Brahmanas are generally very poor. Brahmuni's kicking the chest of Lord Vishnu was certainly great offense, but Lord Vishnu is so great that he did not care. The so-called Brahmanas of the Kali Yuga were sometimes very proud that the great Brahmanas like Brahmuni could touch the chest of the Lord Vishnu with his foot. But in the fact, when Brahmuni kicked the chest of Lord Vishnu, it was the greatest offense, although Lord Vishnu, being greatly magnanimous, did not take it very seriously.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. So we see here that we all know this pastime, isn't it? It's there in all the serials. It's a very controversial pastime, right? So whether it is Brahma is the supreme, or the Brahma is supreme, or Shiva is supreme, or Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead, right? Ekala Ishvara Krishna or Sabhapritya, right? This is the concluding sections of the Krishna book. Right, we are on chapter number 89. So it has been concluded several times that Krishna is the avatari, Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead, and Guna avataras are Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva, who take care of secondary creation, maintenance, and destruction or annihilation is taken care of by Lord Shiva. So we all know, we are very clear in our mind that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. However, this is a very interesting pastime. Generally, we find it in serials and movies, etc. In Tamil movies, we've seen, right, that Brahmani goes and checks who is the supreme, right? And very beautifully, Prabhupada is also explained here. The first offense that he committed was a mental offense, right? He did not offer respect, right? And Brahma got very angry, right? Because in the mode of passion. And then the second offense when he committed to Lord Shiva was offensive by words, saying that, you are, I don't want to embrace you, you are unclean, right? You are having ashes all over your body. And Lord Shiva also got angry, right? Of course, this is a lesson to teach us that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead, right? We cannot say that Lord Shiva got angry, so he's under the influence of passion, or Brahma got angry. See, these pastimes have a purpose, right? Basically to help us understand that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. So these are various leelas have been enacted to show us that principle, right? Lord Shiva, we know, is Vaishnavanam Yata Shambhu. So in several cases, Lord Shiva is so happy to become an instrument, just like Arjuna became an instrument, Parikshit Maharaj became an instrument, Shukadeva Goswami became an instrument for the Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam to be delivered. So similarly, to get this principle straight, that that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, we see here that Shiva and Brahma have also been used as instruments, right, to bring out this supreme truth, that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Krishna incarnates into these three guna avatars. Even Vishnu, we know, is an expansion of Lord Krishna. Krishna is avatari and his various avatars, out of which even the Purusha avatars, the Vishnu form, is also an avatar of Krishna. And Brahma, Shiva and Vishnu are also the guna avatars of Krishna to serve and satisfy and please Krishna by performing various administrative duties of creation, of maintenance and annihilation. So let's continue this pastime. So ultimately it will be realized that Shiva also got angry, Brahma also got angry, and when Lord Vishnu is lying down and in the on Anantashesh in the ocean, right, and Lakshmi Devi is massaging the lotus feet of Lord Narayan, Bhrigu Muni comes and kicks Lord Vishnu, right, Lord Krishna, in the chest. Then what happens? Lakshmi Devi gets very offended. Very nicely Prabhupada is mentioning here. That's why the Brahmanas are very poor, because Bhrigu Muni is a Brahmana. He went and kicked. And this is also a Leela of the Lord, right? Krishna was using Bhrigu Muni also as an instrument. And generally, Bhrigu Muni gets very angry, right? So he was, what happened? Vishnu, right? In fact, I've, heard some acharyas explain that Vishnu actually tells Bhrigu Muni, oh, you kicked me in my chest. Right? My heart is hard like a thunderbolt. My heart is hard like thunderbolt. I hope your lotus feet did not get hurt. Right? Of course, Lakshmi Devi got angry. We also seen the case of Chitraketu Maharaj, right? When Chitraketu Maharaj actually says, in the wide assembly, when Shiva is having Parvati on his lap and is giving a pravachan to all the demigods and sages situated there, Chitraketu is a friend of Lord Shiva. So he simply says, you are giving a class on renunciation, but you're having your wife on your lap. Right? And Shiva did not take it seriously. Right? Shiva did not get angry. So in this case, we see that Shiva has got angry because there is a purpose to be fulfilled. Right? It is not that, Shiva got angry or he's under the mode of passion or ignorance like that. Right? We should understand what is the purpose of the particular Leela that is being performed. So in this Leela, from this Leela, we understand that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, right? So when Bhrigu Muni kicks Krishna or Vishnu in the heart, then what happens? Vishnu says like this, right? Hope your lotus feet is not affected because of my hard like, stone like chest. And Bhrigu Muni understands, okay, this must be the Supreme Personality of Godhead, right? Brahma got angry at a mental offense. Shiva got angry at a verbal offense. But even after committing a physical offense of kicking Vishnu in the chest, what is he saying? He's actually, checking for me. He's not getting angry. So Vishnu must be the Supreme Personality of Godhead, like that. Okay. And we all know, Prabhupada mentions in a lecture that Krishna and Vishnu are not different. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead at home. Just like a father, Prabhupada gives example of a Chief Justice. Right? The Chief Justice in the court demands respect from everyone. But the same Chief Justice, when he comes home, he becomes a horse, or he becomes carrying his or her grandson or son for that reason in his own home. So Krishna is like that Chief Justice at home, whereas Vishnu is like the Chief Justice in the office. Right? Typically, there is a lot of Aishwarya Bhav in Lord Vishnu, and there is Madhurya Bhav in Lord Sri Krishna. So like that, we know that Krishna or Vishnu, of course, the four qualities are there only in Krishna, which are not even there in Lord Vishnu. But amongst Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva, we can be very clear that Vishnu is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And that is what is proved by this pastime, where Bhrigu Muni, Brahma and Shiva, they are all playing parts of telling us or reiterating to us that Vishnu is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that's what is the rest of the next couple of paragraphs. So quickly we'll read that. Karpavali Mataji, go ahead, and then Swarupini Mataji can read, and then Anusha Mataji. Yes.
Yes, Mataji. Am I audible, Mataji?
Yes, that would be.
Instead of being angry or cursing Bhrigu Muni, Lord Vishnu immediately got up from his bed along with his wife, the goddess of fortune, and offered respectful obeisances to the Brahmana. He addressed Bhrigu Muni as follows: My dear Brahmana, it is my greatest fortune that you have come here. Please, therefore, sit down on this cushion for a for a few minutes. My dear Brahmana, I am very sorry that when you first entered my home, I could not receive you properly. It was a great offense on my part, and I beg you that to pardon me. You are so pure and great that the water which washes your feet can purify even the places of pilgrimage. Therefore, I request you to purify the Vaikuntha planet where I live with my associates. My dear father, O great sage, I know that your feet are very soft like a lotus flower, and that my chest is as hard as thunderbolt. I am therefore afraid that you may have felt some pain by kicking my chest. Let me touch your feet to relieve the pain you have suffered. The Lord Vishnu then began to massage the feet of Brigumuni. The Lord
Starts to
continued to
massage the
address
feet of
Brigumuni.
Brigumuni. Jai, Jai. Yes. Go ahead, Mother.
The Lord continued to address Brigumuni, my dear Lord. He said, my chest has now become sanctified because of your touch of your feet. I am now assured that the goddess of fortune, Lakshmi, will be very glad to live there perpetually. Another name for Lakshmi is Chanchala, indicating that she does not stay in one place for a long time. Therefore, we see that a rich man's family sometimes become poor after a few generations, and sometimes we see that a poor man's family becomes very rich. Lakshmi, the goddess of fortune, is Sanchala in this material world, whereas in the Vaikuntha planets, she eternally lives at the lotus feet of the Lord. Because Lakshmi is famous as Sanchala, Lord Narayana indicated that she might not have been living perpetually by his chest, but because his chest has been touched by the feet of Brigumuni, it was now sanctified that there was no chance that the goddess of fortune would leave. Brigumuni, however, could understand his position and that of the Lord, that he was struck with wonder at the behavior of the Supreme Personality of the Godhead. Because of his gratitude, his voice choked up and he was unable to reply to the words of Lord. Tears glided from his eyes and he could not say anything. He simply stood silently before the Lord. After testing Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, and Lord Vishnu, Brigumuni returned to the assembly of great sages on the bank of the river Saraswati and described his experience. After hearing him with great attention, the sages concluded that all the predominantly deities, the Lord Vishnu is the greatest. Of all the predominating deities, Lord Vishnu is certainly the greatest. In Srimad Bhagavatam, these great sages are described as Brahmavadinam. Brahmavadinam means that those who talk about the absolute truth and have not yet come to the conclusion. Generally, Brahmavadi refers to the impersonates or those who are students of the Vedas. It is to be understood, therefore, that all the gathered sages are serious students of the Vedic literature, but had not come to the definite conclusion as to who is the supreme absolute personality of Godhead. But after hearing of Brigumuni's experience in meeting all these three predominating deities, Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma, and Lord Vishnu, the sages concluded that Lord Vishnu is the supreme truth, the personality of Godhead. It is said in Srimad Bhagavatam that after hearing the details from Brigumuni, the sages are astonished because although Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva were immediately agitated, Lord Vishnu, in spite of being kicked by Brigumuni, was not agitated at the least. The example is given that small lamps may be agitated by slight breeze, but the greatest lamp or the greatest illuminating force, the sun, is never moved, even by this greatest hurricane. One's greatness it has to be estimated by one's ability to tolerate provoking situations. The sages gathered on the bank of the river Saraswati concluded that one who wants actual peace and freedom from all fear should take shelter of the lotus feet of Vishnu. Since Lord Brahma, the Lord Shiva, lost their peaceful attitude upon the slightest provocation, how can they maintain the peace and tranquility of their devotees? As for Lord Vishnu, however, it is stated in Bhagavad Gita that anyone who accepts Lord Vishnu or Krishna as the supreme friend attains the highest perfection of peaceful life. The sages just concluded that. Thank you. Thank you.
Bhoktaram yajnatapasam sarvalokam maheshwaram suhradam sarvabhutanam nyatva mam shanti mrichati. Right? You all know this wonderful words from Bhagavad Gita 5.29, where Krishna himself declares. What does Krishna declare? Bhoktaram yajnatapasam. Right? I am the bhukta. I am the enjoyer of all the sacrifices. Sarva Loka Maheshwaram. I am the supreme controller of all the controllers of all the worlds. Right? Suhradam Sarva Bhutanam. Suhradam means I am the friend of all the living entities. Suhradam means, a friend that helps in times of need or who does the greatest help. Suhradam Sarva Bhutanam, friend of all the living entities. Nyatva Mam Shanti Vrichati. One who understands this, right? He will attain peace of mind. He will attain happiness. He will attain peace, right? Peace is the first step towards getting happiness. So in this way, it is mentioned here that he will attain peace, right? One more important factor that is given here, one more important point that's given here is anybody who takes shelter at the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu, such a person will experience peace. Why? Because that person will not experience fear. Bhajahure mana Shri Nandanandana Abhaya Charanara Vindare. Abhaya Charanaravindare. If you are constantly meditating at the lotus feet of Lord Krishna, then fear will run away. Uncertainty will be there, but anxiousness will not be there. Why? Because we are fearful of uncertainty. What is going to happen next? Oh, I don't know what is going to happen in my life next. Okay, what is whether I'm going to get a promotion or not, whether I'm going to be able to get a car or not. This, that, so many anxieties are there because we don't know what is going to happen in the future. However, when we know that what is not within our control is within the control of our best friend, Suhradam Sarvabhutanam, then we need not worry, right? We need not worry about what is going to happen, because if we take shelter at the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Shri Krishna, we can be fearless because we know everything is within the control of the Supreme Lord, and that Supreme Lord who is in all control is my best friend, right? So where is the need to fear like that? Okay, let's go ahead. Who's reading next? Okay, Swarupini Mataji. I believe Mataji has joined us for the first time. If possible, you can switch on your camera, Mataji. Otherwise, you can read. Yes.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, Sadhu.
Yes, go ahead.
The sages thus concluded that by following the principles of Vaishnava Dharma, one becomes actually perfect, but that if one follows all the religious principles of a particular sect and does not become advanced in understanding the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu, all such labor of love is fruitless. To execute religious principles means to come to the platform of perfect knowledge. If one comes to the platform of perfect knowledge, then he will be uninterested in material affairs. Perfect knowledge means knowledge of one's own self and supreme self. The supreme self and the individual self, although one in quality, are different in quantity. This analytical understanding of knowledge is perfect. Simply to understand I am not matter, I am spirit is not perfect knowledge. The real religious principle is devotional service or bhakti. This is confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita, where Lord Krishna says, give up all other religious principles and simply surrender unto me. Therefore, the term Dharma applies only to Vaishnava Dharma or Bhagavad Dharma, by following which one automatically achieves all good qualities and advancements in life. The highest perfectional knowledge is knowledge of the Supreme Lord. He cannot be understood by any process of religion other than devotional service. Therefore, the immediate result of perfect knowledge is achieved by executing devotional service. After attainment of knowledge, one becomes uninterested in the material world. This is not because of the dry philosophical speculation. The devotees become uninterested in the material world not simply because of theoretical understanding, but because of practical experience. When a devotee realizes the effect of association with the Supreme Lord, he naturally hates the association of so-called society, friendship, and love. This detachment is not dry, but is due to achieving a higher status of life by relishing transcendental mellows. It is further stated in Srimad Bhagavatam that after attainment of such knowledge and such detachment from material sense gratification, one's advancement in the 8 opulences attained through mystic yoga practice, such as the Anima, Lagima, and Prapti Siddhis, is also achieved without separate effort. The perfect example is Maharaja Ambarisha. He was not a mystic yogi, but a great devotee. Yet, in a disagreement with Maharaja Ambarisha, the great mystic Durvasa was defeated in the presence of the king's devotional attitude. In other words, a devotee does not need to practice the mystic yoga system to achieve power. The power is behind him by the grace of the Lord, just as when a small child is surrendered to a powerful father, all the powers of the father are behind him.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. So this is the example that we were just talking about, right? Bhajahoremana, Sri Nanda Nandana, Abhaya Charana Ravindra. How can we be fearless? By depending on that Supreme Personality of Godhead. It's just like a child, right? I was hearing a devotee was giving an example, right? When a father throws the child, right, up, right, and then the child is enjoying because the child knows that my father will catch me, right? And the child enjoys being thrown like that, right? So if we are surrendered to the Lord, when the life throws us up and down, then we will be sheltered at the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and we know that the Lord will Yogakshemam Vahamyam, right? It does not mean that we will not get any problems, but it means that the Lord will give us intelligence to grow through those problems. In Brahma Muhurta session also we were discussing that the Lord will give us intelligence to go through life's difficulties, grow, not just go through life's difficulties, so that we can grow in our devotional service and we can become more and more surrendered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Just like a child is dependent on the father, right? Even when, while crossing the road and everything, the mother has to run behind a child, to hold my hand like that. Right? Why? Because the mother knows the child is completely dependent on me. I have to take care of the child, right? And in another situation, Prabhupada also says, that we should have Krishna as our child. So when we care for Krishna as our child, we want to protect Krishna. We don't want to ask Krishna, protect me, protect me, protect me. Right? So when we are so concerned about serving the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then all our material problems, it will be taken care of. In the sense that we will get the intelligence how to tackle those problems and yet engage in devotional service like that. Okay, so I think the Zoom meeting will end in about 5-6 minutes. So quickly we will read the next one paragraph. One Mataji can read. I believe there are 2 hands up. Anusha Mataji can read one paragraph, Shobha Mataji another paragraph, and then we will conclude with Harinam Sankirtan. Yes, go ahead. When a person becomes famous as a devotee of the Lord, go ahead.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai. When a person becomes famous as a devotee of the Lord, his reputation is never to be extinguished. Lord Chaitanya, when discoursing with Ramananda Rai, questioned, "What is the greatest fame?" Ramananda Rai replied that to be known as a pure devotee of Lord Krishna in the perfect fame. The conclusion, therefore, is that Vishnu Dharma, or the religion of devotional service unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is meant for persons who are thoughtful. By proper utilization of thoughtfulness, one comes to the stage of thinking of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. By thinking of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one becomes free from the contamination of the faulty association of the material world, and thus one becomes peaceful. When the world is in a disturbed condition because of a scarcity of such peaceful devotees in human society. Unless one is a devotee, one cannot be equal to all living entities. A devotee is equally disposed towards the animals, the human beings, and all living entities, because he sees every living entity as a part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. In the Ishopanishad, it is clearly stated that one who has come to the stage of seeing all living beings equally does not hate anyone or favor anyone. The devotee does not hanker to possess more than he requires. Devotees are therefore akinchana. In any condition of life, a devotee is satisfied. It is said that a devotee is even-minded, whether he is in hell or heaven. A devotee is callous to...
Shobha Mataji, continue. Just we don't have time. Apologies for that. Okay,
Hare
just go
Krishna
ahead.
Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. A devotee is callous to all subjects other than his engagement in devotional service. This mode of life is the highest perfectional stage, from which one can be elevated to the spiritual world, back home, back to Godhead. The devotees of the Supreme Personality of Godhead are especially attracted by the highest material quality, goodness, and the qualified Brahmanas is a symbolic representation of his goodness. Therefore, a devotee is attached to the Brahminical stage of life. He is not very interested in passion or ignorance, although these qualities also emanate from the Supreme Lord Vishnu. In Srimad Bhagavatam, the devotees are described as Nipuna Buddhayaha, which means that they are the most intelligent class of men. Uninfluenced by attachment or hatred, the devotee lives very peacefully and is not agitated by the influence of passion and ignorance.
Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam. Thank you so
Hare
much,
Krishna, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you,
Hare
Mataji. Hari Bol.
Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Gavihastini Shuni Chaiva Swapaggecha Panditaha Samadarshinaha. Right? Why does a devotee develop this Samadarshinaha? Because a devotee is able to understand that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead and we are all servants of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And the Lord is pleased only when we understand that everyone is part and parcel of Krishna and we need to serve every living entity to the best of our ability so that we please our gurus, that we please all the Vaishnavas. And in that way, we will be able to attain Param Drishtva Nivartate. We will get better taste, right? We will understand that the joy is more in serving than in receiving the service, right? So we also, okay, we don't have time to discuss this. Maybe we'll discuss this tomorrow. That is why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Lord Krishna appeared as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Because as the enjoyer, Krishna was saying, I'm not able to relish how much pleasure Srimati Radharani is deriving by serving me, right? So it is very clear that the Supreme Personality of Godhead also came in the mode of a devotee to experience the pleasure of service. Because apparently the Lord is also saying that in giving service to others, there is more pleasure than in receiving service from others. On that note, let's quickly do Harinam Sankirtan. Devotees can switch on your cameras and the session may end at any time. So we will just end the session. So you can all switch on your cameras. Namah Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Achatya Deshotarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Priya Dvaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama